Well, I did promise I would make this list, didn't I? We've already covered which superstars have the best regular entrances in wrestling in a separate list, and I would like to use this time now to officially apologize for not putting Goldust on that list. I am sorry, and to make amends, I will PayPal each of you $5 at some point over the next 80 years. This time around, we're looking at the greatest one-time only special wrestling entrances. God, they're the best. History's full of entrances with insane uses of pyro, like Kurt Angle's at Mania 22, or Kane setting ladders ablaze at Mania 21. Entrances with bananas pop culture references like Triple H's nonsense Terminator gimmick, or Kenny Omega coming out as Sans from Undertale on an episode of Dynamite for no reason. Entrances where promotions have sunk millions of bucks into making their superstars look like millions of bucks. Commence preparations for Rumbling. These are the 10 greatest one-off entrances in wrestling history. And before we start this list, please subscribe to WrestleTalk. Go on. It really helps the channel out in terms of like raising money from advertising and stuff. And it doesn't cost you anything, and we make such nice videos. Thank you. I love you. Goodbye. Number 10, Triple H, WrestleMania 30. The dad of dads has had some adorably WrestleMania entrances in his time. The time he vroomed down on his big tricycle like he'd been pulled over by the cops during his third bachelor party. The aforementioned Terminator thing, and that time dry ice misfired onto his tummy, making it look like he was literally coming down the aisle. But he's also had some true greats. The Authority one from Mania 32 was an enjoyable Amdram cornball. The one at Mania 28 where he arrived in his own shoulders. But the best, by a long way, is his entrance at Mania 30. The golden skull mask, the operatic music, the three before they were famous cameos from Sasha, Charlotte, and Alexa. He truly looked like the final boss in Daniel Bryan's long road to WrestleMania. The perfect balance of achieving grand spectacle without tipping too far into laughable excess. Number 9, John Cena, WrestleMania 23. Speaking of fellas who've had some absolutely wank WrestleMania entrances in his time, John Cena's yearly carnivals of Americana normally scream like the insane scribblings of a hyperventilating 12-year-old boy punctuated by the words "and then." And then I want it to be a marching band, and then a troop of soldiers with guns, and then a full gospel choir, and then a load of gangsters, and then I come out with a Tommy gun, and then I have an army of clones. Stop it, John. You've had too many Pop-Tarts. However, I will give it to him. The entrance at Mania 23 was pretty great. A Ford Mustang bombing around the streets of Detroit before powering its way into the arena, smashing through a sheet of glass, because in for a lad penny, in for a lad pound. Out of the car steps John Cena, and yes, it's stupid. All of John Cena's WrestleMania entrances are stupid, but this one just about had that "I wish that was me" quality that makes an entrance truly pop for the fans watching. Number 8, Shinsuke Nakamura, Wrestle Kingdom 8. Fun fact, Shinsuke Nakamura wasn't featured at WWE's most recent pay-per-view Survivor Series, which is odd, because if you go back and watch any of his Wrestle Kingdom entrances while he wrestled for New Japan, he seems to have been the coolest and most important person in the world. Sad times for Shinsuke, but hey, at least he got to walk down to his match at Wrestle Kingdom 9 wearing a cape and a crown so pointy you'd have God's eye out. Right there is the most regal gentleman since William. He had a couple of great entrances in WWE, sure. His ones with Lee England Jr. spring to mind, but nothing, not nothing, will top his entrance at Wrestle Kingdom 8. Gigantic plumes of fire, women dancing around 20-foot stripper poles, and him recreating Mac's dance from It's Always Sunny whilst wearing the goddamn IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Nothing but swagger, happier days. I miss you, Shinsuke Nakamura. Number 7, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 12. I mean, it's featured in 8,000 WWE video packages for a reason. It's pure, iconic WWE showmanship. A simple but breathtaking moment of ceremony. The kind of production that takes a former tag team and Intercontinental Champion and makes them into World Championship material. Before his first ever coronation as WWF Champion, Shawn Michaels ziplined from the roof of the Arrowhead Pond of Anaheim, dressed in the dazzle, and surveying what was finally going to be his kingdom. "Everything the light touches is yours, Shawn," said Vince. "Now please, don't spend a year being a knob to Bret Hart so we can do this again next year." Sure, he ended up slowly landing in the crowd, which takes a tiny amount of flair out of the moment, but watching one of the most flamboyant superstars of all time gyrating through the air like a skeezy angel is just one of those things that makes wrestling the greatest crowd sport of all time. Number 6, The Undertaker, WrestleMania 29. Skeleton Burt has had a number of wonderful entrances, each of them 6 days long and containing so much purple smoke that even Prince would say, bit much. It's genuinely hard to choose Taker's best special entrance. Is it the one where he returns to the dead man persona at Mania 20 flanked by torch-wielding druids and wearing a stupidly large hat? Is it the one where he's summoned via spotlight at SummerSlam 94? Or the one where he shows off how hard he is by letting the pyro guy set him on fire at Elimination Chamber? It is a toughie, but I'm going to have to go with WrestleMania 29. A fairly bad WrestleMania with one very good match in the form of CM Punk versus Graveyard Gareth, who makes his entrance through a swarm of reaching hands. lost souls pleading for their master to pull them free of their underworld torment. And then also the Brooklyn Bridge erupts into flames because wrestling's the best. Number 6, Rusev, WrestleMania 31. He arrived on a fucking tank. What else do I say about this? Look, it's a fucking tank. Sorry, perhaps you're not getting it. He rode into WrestleMania on a goddamn Jesus, Mary, and Joseph real life, actual, factual fucking tank. It's beautiful. Even Lana got an amazing entrance that night. She was serenaded to the ring by the Russian national anthem, carrying the United States Championship, chef kiss, flanked by Russian artillery and goose-stepping soldiers carrying the Russian flag. And then, and I actually can't believe I almost forgot this bit, Rusev rode into the arena on a fucking tank. Absolutely pisses on Cena's Mania 23 chips. That pisses on them. The only thing that would have made this moment any better is if it came out years later that Rusev and Lana had fucked in that tank. Wait, what? Sorry? Excellent. Number 4, the Great Muta. Anything in Hustle. Okay, so we've talked about the Great Muta before, the demon fiend-like alter ego of Keiji Muto, who is basically all mythical warrior creatures that have been blended together and put underneath a mask which looks like a head crab. Excellent stuff so far. Now let's talk about Hustle, a Japanese promotion that thought wrestling should look like what an opera Valkyrie would see after dropping enough acid to kill the 70s. The Great Muta was embroiled in a batshit storyline that saw him make 2 of the greatest entrances in wrestling history. So, Yinling, whose official nickname was the Erotic Terrorist, yes, was tormenting a wrestler called Real Gay, who often associated with a wrestler called Hard Gay. Yes. During a match, Real Gay takes a genie's lamp and rubs the end of it like it's a dick before throwing it at the ground, which erupts into smoke, which settles to reveal the Great Muta decked out as a giant ninja warrior. That's a pretty awesome entrance, we say. Hold my beer, says Muta, who during a later match in this story, which involved Muta impregnating Yinling with mist so that she gave birth to an egg which eventually grew and hatched into a giant wrestler called Monster Bono, who was basically a crazy warrior baby. Yes, Muta made an even better entrance, stretching through the ramp like it had a second skin, for bursting through as a big skull-faced pirate captain. Any questions? No? Great. Number 3, Kazuchika Okada, New Beginning in Osaka 2014. Another day in Japan, another wrestler making his entrance involving a giant sword and a very big puppet of a velociraptor. Kazuchika Okada is regarded by many as the greatest Japanese wrestler of his generation, and for the majority of the 2010s, he was the ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and bloody hell, they treat him like it. Okada's entrances are genuinely something to write home about, be it money raining from the sky, his nickname is the Rainmaker, or his collection of drop-dead gorgeous coats. I want all of them. And then there's this. Before his match with Goto at New Beginning in Osaka, a giant raptor costume took to the entranceway, snarling and swinging its tail before the IWGP Heavyweight Champion emerges, rising through the floor, carrying an honest-to-God anime-style sword over his shoulder. And the only thing that makes this cooler is the fact that Okada was paying homage to how he's depicted on his card in the Buddy Fight trading card game. Never changed, Japan. Number 2, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, WrestleMania 25. It's always wonderful when two legends celebrate their collision with matching badass entrances. One of the most treasured duel entrances of all time belongs to Atsushi Onita and Masahiro Chono, who try to out-badass each other at New Japan's Strong Style Symphony in 1999. Onita walks down to Wild Thing, pauses mid-entrance to light a cigarette while Chono arrives in a Hummer, but the crown truly belongs to HBK and Earthworm Grimm, whose entrances at WrestleMania 25 are sheer thematic perfection. In a battle that was pitched as heaven versus hell, Michaels descends to the ring, clad in all-white Undertaker cosplay, to a heavenly chorus whilst Undertaker rises out of the fiery depths, moving just past the camera as he does. Gorgeous stuff, and proof if further proof be needed that WWE's production team are occasionally masters of visual storytelling. Not always, but occasionally. And number 1, Kazuchika Okada, Wrestle Kingdom 14. However, when it comes to Super Show entrances, New Japan might just out-WrestleMania WWE. Every year at Wrestle Kingdom, someone busts out the best entrance of the year. And this year, on night 1 of Wrestle Kingdom 14, Kazuchika Okada might already have sealed the entrance of the decade. Okada stands behind a giant screen onto which is projected rain, fire, giant moving warrior statues that crumble to debris at Okada's mere gestures. The screen shatters and falls to reveal the IWGP champion, Money, falling from the sky, his luminescent coat glowing under the arena lighting. Quite simply put, he emerges like a folktale legend, a living, breathing god walking among us. And what the is the point of a special entrance other than that? And few things have ever been cooler, and we're including Triple H carrying a bunch of shrunken robot heads in that. And that's our list. What's your favorite special wrestling entrance? Let us know in the comments. Please don't forget to like and share this video around, and subscribe subscribe, ya bastards, to WrestleTalk. We're ever so lovely and we've got good videos which you should watch. And you'll only find out about them if you subscribe. Bye. Jam that jam.